Hello, my friends. We are back. We are live once again. I am here with my dear sister, my friend Hampton Leftist sister, Afeni. I'm glad that you joined me today. How you doing, my friend?
Good. Wow, we already have more views than we had yesterday on that little live stream. That's crazy. First 2 minutes. That's crazy.
Yo,
But I'm
at the
fine,
beginning of
y'all.
this month, I remember we was just over 7,000
Mm.
subscribers, and it was like the first stream of this August. I was like, yo, it'll be a great goal if we can hit 8,000 subscribers before the end of the month. And I said that in the month, guys. I don't know if you how many of you guys saw it, but I was like, yo, that'd be crazy if we hit 8,000. But now we just hit 8.1 as of this Monday. So I appreciate the support because you guys know the algorithm not helping us. that is not the algorithm. We are gaining traction because you guys are helping spread our message. You guys are liking, you guys are sharing, you guys are showing love. So thank you guys. And someone else said thank you. Yeah, we don't have to say that, but yeah, we owe a lot of attention for people who want to put shine on us. You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say. We owe a lot of thanks for people who want to put shine on us. How you guys doing today?
Yeah. Hey, y'all. I'm just excited. I'm really excited. Hey, Robin. Hey, Ware. All the people that I know.
So
Hello.
we're gonna talk about some Afghanistan stuff. I have a story because my show I like to cover the police, but if you guys have any questions, we'll try to address it as well. Make sure you
Mhm.
guys check out Meg's show. We got a back to back for you guys today. Like me and Finny today, Meg has a great show. She's talking about feminism and imperialism on her show. So back to back FHL. And I'm glad that we're able to do stuff like this now as our channel expand and as you guys support us more, we'll be able to do more stuff like this. It's great. But to get things started off, because there have been a lot of talk. I had to invade CJ's show yesterday because I mean not CJ but JB show on Sunday. I had to invade his show just cause like bro, I had to talk about Afghanistan. So
Yeah.
I like after he got done talking to Ron McCone, I jumped on and JB being the gentleman and the scholar that he is, we had a great conversation. But now we have a few days, the dust settled, and now we're gonna bring up some more um, conversations around Afghanistan. I'm also very curious about hearing Finney's take on this as well, because you are the anti-war vet. So I definitely want to hear what you got to say. But first things first, I just want to congratulate. I just want to say congratulations to Raytheon, Boeing. You guys
Mm-hmm.
won.
I mean,
People
celebrate.
like people like who won? Like what? Who lost the war? United States lost the war. Taliban won. The defense contractors won. Period. The people that and this is the difference in how we cover stuff, right? You see the surface level covering. We here to talk about how the country actually works, right? So you have defense contractors that pay people like Joe Biden to get elected. So they get in charge and they spend the forever wars, and then that makes a lot of money for defense contractors, and they donate to politicians again. It's a crazy circle, isn't it? So that's the true winners of the war. I'll
You know,
explain more here very soon, right? But am I right, Finney?
yeah, politicians are cheap though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like they may give some money to their campaigns. They may give some money to their super PACs. They might even give them some like trade secrets so they can make a little bit of money off of investments. But guess what? The defense contractors are really winning because the Pentagon lost $35 trillion. Who do you think acquired that money? I mean, come on now, y'all. Where do you think that money went? All those budget raises that keep going to to the military budget. Wow, military and police very conflated. But all that money that goes to the military budget, the soldiers don't see it. I can tell you, we didn't see that money. So who do you think is getting these budget raises? The defense contractors truly won the war in Afghanistan. Period. Period.
Yeah, you guys don't believe me? Why? Peep this. Peep this. Look at this. This is what the war is about. This is what war is about. And we're going to talk about the media coverage of Afghanistan here very soon because the media has been melting down, right? It's still insane propaganda. I'm going to explain why it's propaganda here very soon. But CNN, MSNBC, who do you think they were paid for? And they're open about it. They had to disclose it. Lockheed Martins, the Boeings, the Raytheons. Now look at their stocks. So if you invested in these stocks before the war, you are doing really well right now. So if anyone want to ask why the United States going to Afghanistan, why are we continuing to expand the endless war? This is why. So this tweet by Public Citizens, for anyone who may be listening to this only, Lockheed Martin, 1,236% return on investment. Northrop, 1,196%.
God damn.
Assuming you invested into these titans before the war. That is. Boeing 975%. General Dynamics
Damn. Cleaned
625%.
up.
Raytheon is slipping. I mean, Raytheon probably need to get some advice from Lockheed on how to be a little bit more successful in this endless war machine, right? So the military-industrial complex got exactly what it wanted out of this war. As the public citizen pointed out, and it was covered extensively in The Intercept. And if you think the defense contractors are sweating, they're not really sweating right now. You know why? I pegged this before. We ending the war in Afghanistan, but we are increasing our military budget. Trust me, there's going to be plenty of spoils to go around for the military-industrial complex moving forward because the Biden administration was open about that. You have anything you want to add, Afeni?
And Biden isn't ending anything because they are sending troops back to Afghanistan right now.
Trying to Cal.
As we speak, there are boots on the ground already. So what is actually being ended? What exactly got ended? Nothing. All of these wars are about nothing else other than capital. They're about nothing else other than control and instilling fear. They're about nothing else than protecting property and certain military advantage points in countries that we want to keep our eyes on. And countries with brown people in them and black people, because Joe Biden did bomb Somalia, countries with black and brown people in them are the ones that get punished the most by these wars because we are literally murdering their civilians. We are disrupting their governments. We're destroying their infrastructure. And then we don't even give a fuck enough to care about the governments to give them a check afterwards, something, helping their reconstruction. No, it is never about human rights. And if it was about human rights, why wouldn't we help reconstruct their cities? Why wouldn't we help protect their citizens? Why do we kill so many of their citizens if this is about human rights and about feminism and about all these different things, right? All these people are supposed to be protected by this. Well, where the fuck is the protection at?
Yeah, what are we going to do for the Afghan refugees? Like, we have Iran that is sanctioned to death right now, and they are accepting refugees from Afghanistan. So if we don't have a massive program on our end, what does that say about our country? Now, once again, it was covered by my good friend of the show, Asar Rod, who is, we're going to have an amazing panel tomorrow night. Dr. Peter Batesh, we're gonna have Asar Rod back on. It's gonna be amazing show where I talk to my favorite foreign policy people. So, but this was Asar point out as well. Iran sees the influx of Afghan refugees. The U.S. has a central role to play in both parts of this disaster, so it had a distinct responsibility to help instead of compounding the devastation. That kind of covers what you was talking about, Finney. And I was looking at the comment, everyone talking about the weapon defense contractors. I appreciate the super sticker, Bobby. But someone mentioned it was like 70 million. Oh no, 90 million. I saw this comment earlier from. So these people clean up. This society works perfectly for them. So when you see these people invest so much money in politicians, people wonder why. This is why. Like when they invest in politicians, these politicians advocate for endless war. This is why, and this is why I don't give Biden any props because he that was very clear, and this is what Finney was talking about early on. To me, as an anti-imperialist, as someone who is truly anti-war, to me, I don't consider a war ending unless we end all involvement. There is nothing that we are adding to the war. Once there's nothing that we are adding to the war, we are done. That's what. Go ahead, Finney. It's not like you.
No, like you're right. Like I was just hyping you up. Like
yeah. Anytime I see you about pop up, I'm like, go ahead. I'm always looking for Fiend to go off. But that's what I'm saying. I want to see how things change moving forward. But it was very, very clear how they still going to have covert operations in Afghanistan. Now, even if you withdraw all the ground troops, if you are funding covert operations in the country, as far as I'm concerned, as an anti-imperialist, you did not end the war. And that's how we got to view things. You did not end the war unless there's no more involvement in terms of you being complicit in furthering that conflict, which exactly the United States has been. I like how Biden threw Obama under the bus.
Oh, and I just like, just to comment on that, like, of course, Barack Obama is a fucking war criminal. But do you see how quickly his favorite white friend tossed him under the bus? It wasn't even Barack Obama that he should have been tossing under the bus. You need to talk to your friend George Bush and Dick Cheney. You need to talk to them. Condoleezza Rice. Why aren't you? Where's all your rap for them? But no,
There's a lot to say about that.
they always throw the left-leaning side under the bus, especially the black part of that side under the bus. That shit is crazy as hell. I did see that, and it just made me think, like, wow, the racism never ends.
What did he specifically say? That doesn't surprise me. I didn't see what he specifically said. It probably was like, "Hey, yo, we actually did it," unlike Obama, right? Something like that.
I was like, hold on, let me see if I can DM you the clip real fast, if I can find it in my likes. But no, there was another clip I want to DM you as well. Give me 1 second.
How can Joe Biden take credit for this whatsoever? Like that doesn't make sense to me. And even people that praised Biden, you was vice president for 8 years while you guys was lying about the Afghanistan war. When they exposed how the Afghanistan war was essentially a lie that expanded over multiple administrations, including the Obama and the Joe Biden administration. They even expanded the Afghanistan war. Now Joe Biden pulling out of Afghanistan now because that's the trajectory that Trump lobbied out. And now partisan politics is so annoying and so deeply unserious. You have even some MAGA people, like, the partisan people that are like attacking Biden and the Democratic Party, where they're like, "Oh, we see that you guys are destabilize Afghanistan with you guys pulling out." Like, bro, that's Trump's move. Like, Biden actually extended longer than what Trump did, and they are mad at Biden for doing exactly what Trump is doing. So you see how a side would be for something, and then the other side would do it, and all of a sudden people will flip just like that. Deeply unserious. Now there are a lot of people pointing blame, and this is part of the propaganda that people don't even understand. Where you had the mainstream media, they are melting down about Biden. This is the only time you will ever see the media criticize Joe Biden, even more than Joe freaking out. Andrea Mitchell damn near at tears about the fact that we're potentially, actually not even really going to end the war, right? But now, as someone who want to critique, I'm a media critic, and as someone who analyzes power, you guys notice who they don't blame? Who are the people who are not being attacked by this? Pentagon.
The weapons manufacturers.
The Pentagon, yep. Ooh. The weapon manufacturer. Why is the generals in the Pentagon, who wasn't responsible for this game plan, why are they not getting the public blame? You see how they put it on Joe Biden. Why they put it on Joe Biden? He's the puppet in the suit. He was the puppet in the suit. The United States was caught lying about Afghanistan for years and years and years. Why did the Afghan had no resistance to stop the Taliban? Why was the Afghan security forces so helpless to stop Afghanistan when the mission, as outlined by the Obama and the George Bush administration, was to uplift their forces so they can fight for themselves? So after we invested $2 trillion into your country, after we spent all this time in 20 years, you have no security forces set up? You know why? Because we lied. And this is the media telling you this? You know what the media says? They're very careful with their framing. The media is like, "Oh, this was a mistake. Oh, we're not completing our mission. No, it's a lie. The United States lost this war. No, the United States did not lose this war. It was a lie. They accomplished what they wanted to do. They controlled the flow of the opium farms. They pillaged the country and the resources. We got the weapons manufacturers rich. So how can you call that a loss? Now the people who made a lot of money, they can invest even more money into the campaigns of the politicians who they hope to get elected. And then when those politicians lose because they got caught being pro-war war hawks, those people, they will get a job at the defense contractors. They will get a job at the board. They become a lobbyist. So there's no lose for these people. So when you say the United States lost the war in Afghanistan, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like there was a lot of winners in the ruling class by this war. So what happened? It was a lie. It was a lie where they said, well, we had this mission, but that's not what they were doing. They had no idea what their mission was. That's what the Afghan papers told us. The generals, they had no idea who they was fighting. They had no idea what was going on. There was a lot of mismanagement of resources. Why didn't Vina not talking about that? Because it's easy just to say, oh, Joe Biden is the reason why everything is destabilized. No, it's destabilized because the United States empire. And they can't analyze it that way because they analyze it as the failure of the United States empire. We got to start looking at other things. Then we got to start having other conversations, right? You had Liz Cheney, the resistance hero, the resistance queen. You have Bill Kristol right now going hard against Joe Biden. Yeah, Liz Cheney, she was dragging Joe Biden for quote unquote ending the war in Afghanistan. And then she was like, this is Trump fault too. Trump planted the seeds. You guys see what happened here? The Democratic Party is becoming, well, they have always been. But let me say the mask are off. They are openly running as the Reagan Party now, where the people who they look up to, the people who are the leaders in their party, the Lincoln Projects, these are the people they prop up. The Bill Kristol is beloved. The good friend of Ro Khanna, by the way. These people are beloved by the establishment because they push war. So this is what the goal of Russiagate was. Due to the role of the shift in the Democratic Party post-Trump, we're going to appeal to the Mitt Romney Republicans, the George Bush Jr. Republicans, and we're going to take over the party. If we have them take over the party, we will take their dark money, like the money they raised to beat Nina Turner, and we silence the activists because we know they're going to fall in line. Thank you, Bernie, for getting anyone to fall in line. So we don't have to lobby for those votes no more because Bernie and the squad would do that for us. So what we're going to do, we're going to lobby for the votes of the suburban white people. That's the real-time political shit that we seen. But what breakdown do you get on other channels? You know what they told you? Oh, all we gotta do is vote for Joe Biden and we push them left. The exact opposite is happening. The exact opposite. And I'm gonna cover here very soon how the Democratic Party is now embracing a pro-police budget platform. Why did they do that? Because the progressives gave them a reason to. They gave them an excuse to. But I'm gonna explain that here very soon. You have any thoughts you want to add, Afeni, before I go on?
I just want to say that the U.S. funds the military the way that they do because they understand that the people that they're sending overseas, they do not care about, because a lot of those people are black and brown or working class people. The draft now is going into lower income neighborhoods and telling these kids, or honestly, these kids who don't have resources, who don't have healthcare, who don't have all of these things, who are sometimes in financial straits, hey, if you join the military, we can give you free college, we can give you free healthcare, we can give you housing, we can pay for your food, we can give you the socialism that you would need to survive as a human being if you come and you die in these wars for us. And that's the reason why, I completely support defunding and dismantling the United States military. This is the reason why I cannot continue to sit back and listen to the mainstream media lie and tell us why we should be in these endless wars. We destabilized Afghanistan in the 80s. We created the Taliban and gave them weapons and money. We funded that. We funded Osama bin Laden. We did that. So the terror that we are now fighting, we are creating. And the same exact way, the Biden administration is not actually leaving Afghanistan. All of this shit that I see on mainstream media, to me at this point, is just like, it's all bullshit, because there are still 7,000 more troops that are going to be being sent right back to Afghanistan, because now it's out of control. Now the Taliban is taking over. Now they're fear-mongering about the brown people again. We're back to that. We're back to the mess that we created. So it's just like, I am no longer taking the mainstream media excuse of why we are at war. I'm no longer taking the liberal excuse of why we should have a military budget that is like 10 times bigger than any other military like in the world. There's just no reason. If there was another country that had over 1,000 military bases sprawled all across the world, we would call them a dictatorship, an empire. We would say that they're an evil power. And China is catching up with us with this imperialism thing. All right. So, and guess what we're doing now? Fear mongering against China, fear mongering against all of this, right? We're doing the same exact thing. This is what we were built upon, was instilling fear in other countries, making other people scared of us because, hey, either you listen to us, you fall in line, you follow the type of economic system we want you to follow, or our military or our CIA is going to come in and fuck your whole country up. Which one do you want? Does that sound like human rights to you? Does that sound like free and fair? Does that sound like fair democracy? It sounds like fascism. It sounds like fascism. Like America has always done, we are propping up fascism because we are fascist. We do fascistic shit, like committing genocide in other countries and bombing people for no reason and forcing poor people to fight and die in these wars to make rich people money. That is fascism. And we support that shit. So anybody that fucking supports another goddamn budget raise on the military budget, you are deeply fucking unserious. Any of these fucking leftists that are out here saying that we need to stay in Afghanistan and do that shit, fuck no. We need to rebuild their country and get the fuck out. We need to turn our military bases into housing because we have destroyed so many houses, so much infrastructure in those countries. That is the only thing that the U.S. can do. Give up your shit and get the fuck out. Period.
Meanwhile, look, check this out. This is the resistance hero. I think this is a very important case study on how the media have been covering this. The propaganda has been intense. They have been melting down because they want to stay in war. Despite the fact that the majority of the American people will support us ending the occupation. Actually, let me check and make sure audio's on. But despite the fact that the majority of people American people support in the war in Afghanistan, if you turn on corporate media, if you turn on CNN and MSNBC, you would think it's the exact opposite. They are melted. So what is this divide? And you see this on other issues, despite the fact that majority of the American people support Medicare for all, despite the fact that even you have at least the low number is 25%, 1 out of 4. I've seen as high numbers as high as like 46% of Republicans that support Medicare for all. But meanwhile, if you turn on corporate news, the idea of Republicans supporting universal health care is like unthinkable, despite that being the exact opposite. So there is a giant disconnect. Now, check out the resistance hero, Liz Cheney. This is who the Democratic Party wants to replace people with.
This is President Biden's decision. He is the one that has called for this withdrawal, is going forward with it. But this didn't happen in a vacuum. I mean, it was President Trump that negotiated the agreement with the Taliban to have a complete withdrawal that was supposed to actually happen by May 1st. So who bears responsibility?
Look, I think absolutely President Biden bears responsibility for making this decision, but there's no question that President Trump, his administration, Secretary Pompeo, they also bear very significant responsibility for this. They walked down this path of legitimizing the Taliban, of perpetuating this fantasy, telling the American people that the Taliban were a partner for...
The fantasy is the idea that this war was winnable at any point in time. And as you continue to watch this clip, and I apologize for putting you guys through this torture, but as you continue to watch this clip, think about who she's not talking about here.
Peace. President Trump told us that the Taliban was going to fight terror. Secretary Pompeo told us that the Taliban was going to renounce Al-Qaeda. None of that has happened. None of it has happened. Today, as we watch the Taliban...
That's an indictment in the media because they were saying, oh, yo, we can hold back the Taliban. Everyone knew the Taliban was going to gain when we leave. That's common knowledge, but you had Joe Biden saying the exact opposite. And the media not even reporting because they don't care. They care now because the war is over, right? But this is Liz Cheney, the resistance hero, once again, attacking Trump and Biden from the right. This is how you get the position that she is in. Let's finish
For
this.
example, release prisoners across Afghanistan. There's very real concern that there are not just fighters in those prisons who will join the battle in Afghanistan, but that terrorist groups globally will in fact be fed new soldiers in their war on terror from those prisons. It's a devastating set of circumstances, but the delegitimization of the Afghan government, the notion in the Trump administration, the suggestion that at one point they were saying we're going to invite the Taliban to Camp David. I mean, this disaster.
Isn't your job to be challenging power? You see this? Like, imagine having the opportunity to talk about Liz Cheney and he like just gushing all over her. That's to me, that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean,
you should be pushing her.
This disaster certainly began, and look, the notion of we're going to end endless wars, that campaign slogan. What we're watching right now in Afghanistan is what happens when America withdraws from the world. So everybody who has been saying America needs to withdraw, America needs to retreat, we are getting a devastating, catastrophic, real-time lesson in what.
No, Afghanistan was destabilized in the first place because of the United States. We funded and created the Taliban. But you notice who she didn't bring up, right?
What about your lying ass daddy? What about your lying ass daddy? Talk about your lying ass daddy.
Go ahead, Finn. What's your take on the video? Go
just talk about your lying ass daddy. Him and George W.M.D. Bush. Talk about them. Talk about it. Because where did this actually start? Who actually started this shit all the way back in the 80s? Fucking Republicans did. And the Democratic Party's been running cover for them ever since. Like, come on now, y'all. Come on now, y'all. Please. I know y'all see it, y'all.
Yeah, she didn't bring up her dad, of course. Now, this is the same people who is responsible for starting this war, the biggest foreign policy blunder. Well, not blunder because they know what they want to do, but one of the biggest tragedies in U.S. foreign policy. That's what her dad that started that. It was George Bush who destabilized the Middle East. But then you have, once again, the resistance heroes that's propped up Liz Cheney. They were super quick to prop up. And I apologize for the echo in that video. I'll make sure that I mute so that doesn't happen next time. I apologize, guys. I just now seen the comments, so we make sure I get that fixed next time. But you know, the same people who propping up Liz Cheney, they prop up and they rehabilitated this guy, George Bush Jr. This guy should be shamed from public life, right? He should be afraid to be seen in public. Meanwhile, he got the nerve to come out and speak on foreign policy. In a rational society, he'd be in prison. But meanwhile, he think he can actually weigh in on Afghanistan. So you guys realize, and this is what depressing, him actually dancing with Ellen, that worked. The American people, their memory is so short. These people are so propagandized. His numbers went up significantly.
Mm-hmm. That painting that he did, I forgot who had him on. I think it was like an HBO special, I believe, that I think I saw with him, where they were like featuring him like becoming an artist and making art. You mean the same man that lied and got not only millions of Americans killed, but millions of civilians killed overseas for a war that they lied about to start. Did y'all forget to support your troops? Did you forget like all of those names that used to scroll on TV? You forgot all about that? You forgot about all those moms that I know are still out here. It seems like some of y'all forgot it too. Like, did y'all not forget? Did you forget who started this shit? Like, we have to hold people accountable. And that's one of the worst things I can say about this country is we pick and choose when accountability happens. And George Bush is not somebody, Barack Obama is not somebody that should be publicly exalted by anyone. Period.
And there's people with so many short memories. And Thomas, this is a good comment. George Bush Jr. was the biggest war criminal since Reagan and Nixon. Hillary Clinton said, "Hold my beer." all these people who has been in charge of the war empire, they all war criminals, and you're not gonna see anyone who have been influential in U.S. government have the moral high ground over anyone. This is why I never had Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome is the idea that Donald Trump or anyone or anyone of MAGA is somehow inferior to the Democratic Party. That somehow the Democratic Party has the moral high ground over someone like Donald Trump. That's not. How can you say someone like Joe Biden, who and Anthony Blinken, who is responsible for the tragedy in the Middle East? Because that's the lesson that the media don't want you to take. They want you to take all these bad lessons. But if your heart is breaking for Afghan women right now, that should turn to raw hatred of the United States war machine and the United States empire. All your hatred should be turned to that, because that is what's responsible for this devastating situation that I wish there was a way to fix, but constant intervention will only make things worse. And there are people, even the people who would like to call them leftists, I'm going to show you that here very soon, who get tricked and fooled into thinking that somehow the United States being involved is a good thing, even though we never have good intentions. We never will have good intentions. So believing that someone like Joe Biden, who supported every single one of these wars from day one, who's complicit with the destruction of the Middle East, that he's somehow inherently morally superior to Donald Trump, that never made sense to me. And I'll ask people to explain why, and they never could. The guy who destroyed the black community with his financial legislation, with the bankruptcy bill, and his subservience to Wall Street, him propping up the prison industrial complex, he's responsible for stealing our right to vote, for pushing for hard felony laws. He's the grandfather of the modern damn, I'm blanking. Civil asset forfeiture. Sorry. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. I like he was instrument in building the modern civil asset forfeiture laws, which stole untold amounts of wealth from the black community, considering that we targeted around 60% of the time. Now we're seeing the results of the foreign wars that he committed. So how can you guys say any of these people have the more high ground over someone else when you're responsible for this? All of you guys are evil. Does not be saying that Trump is not. Trump is just one of the same. Trump got in charge and hired Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo is the equal of Trump. Anthony Blinken is the equal of Mike Pompeo. They believe the same thing. So the idea that I'm supposed to get wrapped up in Trump derangement syndrome, and they want to sell us that in 2022 after what we've seen the Democratic Party is complicit of when they're continuing the worst crimes of Donald Trump, that doesn't make sense for me. We got super chat here. Actually, super sticker. Thank you, Piano Man. Shout out. Thank you for the super sticker. You guys want to see what messaging is coming out of the people who told you to vote for Joe Biden? You want to see what their take is on this? And this is why I warn people about these people that are telling you to vote for Joe Biden. The people who tell you to support the Democratic Party, they suck on foreign policy. They don't care about the police state that is currently being expanded right now. They don't even understand that our struggle right now is with the national security state. The expansion of the national security state is one of the biggest problems that we are dealing with right now. Check this out. This is the guy who, once again, I thought Zoomers was cool, but then I realized Zoomers like listen to the dude.
Now,
listen to this.
I want to be clear about this. The thing that's frustrated me is that a lot of people on the left pretend that us pulling out of Afghanistan would be a good thing. Like that the Afghan people are like just waiting to yearn and breathe free to remove the American occupation. Make no mistake, the American occupation was relatively small and relatively cheap, all things considered. Now,
relatively small. This is just not true. That is not true. So I wish I had the confidence, and this is what get these people to like watching these people, the caucasity to be this wrong. But to be able to say it with that amount of confidence.
No facts, just vibes, bro. No stats, no numbers.
I'll just make sure that my numbers here is right. But I think the number is like the war in Afghanistan costs America $300 million per day. See, I don't like this. Unlike this guy that we just played, I don't like just talking out my ass. I think I know these numbers, but I always like to double check. When I come on these streams, I try my best to not mislead you guys. I promise you guys. If I get something wrong, it's because I generally inherently messed up. But I'm Googling now, and the Afghan war costs the U.S. $2 trillion. $2 trillion. But Vosh Limbaugh, as my friend Max Blumenthal called him, and I think that's starting to stick, he was like, relatively cheap. That's the kind of take you get for someone from Beverly Hills. And people wonder why do Jimmy do it? Why do you guys talk about Emma Vigley and her wealth? Why you guys talk about Vosh and his wealth? Because it's really relevant. It's really relevant. That's a very class loyal take. His takes are very class loyal. Emma Vigeland's takes are very class loyal. That's why we bring it up. I love class traders. I am friends with a lot of people who grew up privileged. That does not mean you're a bad leftist. Because there are a lot of great class traders out there, like Susan Sarandon, probably the most famous class trader out there. But you gotta understand that when we have someone who is raised among wealthy shit libs, this is the way they think. They think the United States empire means well. That's the conclusion he has. Oh, the U.S. is doing things for Afghan women got worse ever since the occupation. The amount of female doctors went down. The amount of female doctors plummeted. The women literacy rate in Afghanistan literally dropped. It's almost halved. So the idea that the United States we have good intentions, that we are going to actually fix a country, that is caucasity of the highest level, and that's the take that you get from Majority Report, that you get from Vosh. This is not about the drama. This is about the issues. This guy got a platform. This is the guy that Zoomers are listening to. And he justifying our presence in Afghanistan. And you think the establishment haven't adjusted to our movement? What he like, yo, I'm super leftist. I'm a communist, but I believe in every single CIA talking point though. And you think they haven't adjusted to our movement? They know that young people listen to people who have a camera and sound confident. So they hijack our language to push pro-imperialist talking points. Once again, not about drama, it's about the issues. Because this is part of the PSYOP. This is part of what get people to support these wars. So there's going to be a lot of people, just like me, when I grew up. I remember I used to like Stephen Colbert. I used to thought he was good, right? I remember there's a point where I was like, yo, Bill Maher, he probably on the bar. A lot of people watching now, he grow up and realize this dude lied to you. And I hope when people realize that, it radicalized them even more. You got any thoughts, Afeni?
You know how I feel about white leftists. You know how I feel about the class struggle. If you're not within my class,
we had conversations about class struggles. We've seen that in real time.
Yeah, and if you're not standing in solidarity with Black people in a real way, and watching the space that you take up in Black spaces and in revolutionary movements, I'm not checking for you, white people. I know y'all are. I know that you're paid to say things you are, and that's just what it is.
That's the same guy who said, "Oh, we should pay reparations, but not based on race, but based on class." And you guys wonder why we don't trust these people. Reparations is a debt owed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a debt owed. Two white dudes debating about critical race theory, and that's the left position. The one that agreed with Charlie Kirk that we should do it based on class. And then people wonder why we're like, yo, we need a Black-led movement. We can't have these people are our leaders. The people are imperialists. The people don't support reparations. The people don't support our liberation. They support giant police budgets. They support the Democratic Party that support the white supremacist systems that they claim that they oppose against Trump. They said they're going to fight against Trumpism, but they're expanding Trumpism in front of our face. They don't care. Sorry, may I also get to some comments soon. Make sure you guys check out Meg's show. She got a show coming up, 6:15. So maybe I should get to the next story. There's still a lot to say on Afghanistan because once again, these people is about the issues, and then whenever there is conversations had with Black leftists, and once again, we've seen people learn this the hard way, where they are so non-focused and so non-serious about our struggles that it's easy for them just to advocate for stuff that only helps them, but they just want to cut, like put our stuff to the wayside. What our concerns is not legitimate. So remember, during the course of the campaign, let me see if I can get the story pulled up. I gotta find a link. My link is broken. Come on. But one thing I was saying before the election, because it was clear, because during the debates, you had Joe Biden and you had Donald Trump. And during that debate, you did not see Joe Biden significantly attacking Trump to his left. You had Joe Biden that was saying that Donald Trump is the one who wants to defund the police. That is the messaging that was coming out of the Democratic Party. The message that will come out of the Democratic Party is that Trump is weak on Russia. That Trump is the enemy of the national security state, while we should be propping up the national security state. So as someone who's actually serious, I'm seeing the Democratic Party in their embrace of the national security state. I see their embrace of the police state in general. I'm like, okay, this is dangerous for the Black community. So when you see the increase of funds of the police, that's dangerous for the Black community. So this is something that affects the Black community. We was like, bro, we cannot support the party that support the fascist white supremacist system. Yeah, we are marching for George Floyd, but George Floyd died because of the policies that the Democratic Party is responsible for. That was Amy Klobuchar who failed to prosecute him. That's a Democrat, not a Republican. So this is the message I want to get out there, right? Now, check this out. This is the strategy behind the Democratic Party, because they know for a fact, because of people like Vosh Limbaugh, because of the TYTs out there, because of the people who told everyone to vote for the Democratic Party, to support the Democratic Party with no ask, all the people who flipped out at Ice Cube for saying that we should have an ask for the Black community, this is the result. The Democratic Party, the progressives, once again, sold us out to the police state. Democrats find a new message, and you already seen them starting this message if you've been paying attention. They are the party of the police state now. They are running on funding the police more. So, why are they doing this? I explained earlier on in the stream, because, and once again, I warned you people. I warned you guys. I see a lot of Black commentators now. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe we supported Joe Biden. He's spraying the police state. He actually escalating the war on drugs. I can't believe he's doing this. Oh, if only there wasn't a group of Black leftists that was telling you guys exactly what would happen. So now the Democrats are getting nervous because the defund the police movement is gaining traction, and the Republican Party is attacking them on that. So now, since they know they have the loyalty to the Black community who supports reallocating police budgets, now they are aiming to win the support of people who are for the giant police budget. Because they're like, okay, you have a large group of people who just gave up their political power with no ask. These are the people who are looking for liberation of the white supremacist systems. Meanwhile, the people who support the giant white supremacist systems, the voters that helped defeat Nina Turner, the white bourgeoisie, the white suburbanites, right? We're going to go get their votes. And it's going to be a race of seeing who is the most Reaganite Republican now. So, what just happened? You guys just negotiated yourself out of the conversation. Because you guys voted for a party, you guys supported a party with no ask. No ask. And they didn't accomplish none of their goals, and they running on this in 2022. And guess what? That guy, Vosh, TYT, Cenk Uygur, Sam Cedar, they're going to tell you, you got to canvas, you got to donate, you got to help the Democrats win in 2022. You got to donate to the Wolf Pack. you got to donate whatever. Like it's an amazing grift. Thank you for the super chat, deculturalization. Vosh is a white nationalist. How many times does he have to use the N-word, disregard native culture, attack trans people? Cedar gave him a pass too. All of them give him a pass. Kyle Kalinske gave him a pass. You see, it's very interesting. We talk about these dynamics, right? And I talk about my growth all the time. I'm very open about my political growth. My friend Rome has been very open about his political growth. But you notice the same people that gives this guy, Voss, all the benefit of the doubt. They are quick, super quick to cancel a black leftist. These same people, I see these people. The same people that went after Rome because he said stuff years and years and years ago that he apologized for. He said this stuff years and years and years ago. They want him canceled. They want him delegitimized. They want him deplatformed. These same people are apologizing for Andrea. They apologizing for Vosh. These people that said the N-word during the Trump administration. So isn't it very interesting how one person gets the benefits of the doubt but not the other? Isn't it very interesting how the white people are allowed to be rehabilitated, but whenever any sort of person of color make a mistake, they're done forever, right? So I'm for rehabilitation. I just don't like the double standard. And what are you doing now? What are you doing now? You yelling at black people to vote for Jim Crow Joe. Are you really reformed? They say, oh, he reforms and he turns right-wingers into leftists. No, he don't. He turned to Vox fans and Biden voters. You got anything you want to add, Afeni, before I move on with the story?
I just want to say that
Any comments in general, yeah.
The cities with the highest police budgets in America also have some of the highest crime rates. I wonder why that is. Like if America thinks police work, I can tell you right here in DC, we have 40 plus police departments. So DC should be the safest city in the world, right? We should have no crime, nothing. But yet DC has a very high crime rate. It's almost like the police don't help crime. They don't solve crime. They don't prevent crime. They just show up after shit is over. So Black people's experience with the police and white people's experience with police are very different. The ways in which the Black people are like the ways in which the police interact with Black people versus how they interact with white people is very different. And it's just truly unfair that people that have no experience with police brutality get to write the policy for people that are suffering. 73% of white people have absolutely no contact with the police throughout the year. 73%. So that means that these motherfuckers just live their life without having a negative police interaction. As a Black person, think about how many negative police interactions you've had this week. Like, it's just ridiculous. And it's like the police do not work. There's a 48% recidivism rate in this country. So if the police stop and prevent crime, if prisons and all that shit, if that's supposed to prevent crime, then why do 48%, almost 50% of the people that have been to jail go back? Because they're over-criminalized and under-resourced once they get out. Their citizenship is stripped from them. Why can we not just invest in transforming people, restoring people, actually helping people, getting to the root and preventing issues before they come up? Because crime is usually a socioeconomic problem. So if we want safer communities, just like all the safest communities out here in America just have a lot of resources, if we want safer communities everywhere, we need to invest in communities everywhere. And we need to, and in order for Black people to get reparations, we need to dismantle the police state. Because it costs $48,000 per year per person to imprison somebody. That is how much we're spending to keep people in jail. Imagine how much we could do with that money if we were spending it on, I don't know, mental health services, education, infrastructure, high-speed rail. Like, there are so many different things we could be investing this money in, but we are investing in punishment. We are investing in cruelty. And it doesn't work. So the Democratic Party is making this big shift towards over-criminalizing Black people even more, because again, those communities, white communities, are not affected by the police in the same way that Black communities are. Like, we are the ones that are going to get murdered more. We are the ones that are going to end up in jails more. Like, it's going to be us. And the U.S. already holds 25% of the world's prisoners. So you're telling me now that we got to kick it up a fucking notch? Are y'all crazy? Maybe the murders are going up because the police don't actually help shit.
I was just about to say that. Like, you see the framing of this article as murder surge, we gotta fund the police more. The police are not stopping the murders now. And the propaganda is so intense, people can't even understand how stupid that sounds. And as someone who mind decolonized, I see these headlines like, bro, how do you not see that contradiction? The police is not doing their job, so we gotta give them more money. And like Afeni said, the cops don't work. If you actually have engagement with the police, like a lot of white people don't, as Afeni mentioned, you would know it's an inefficient system. One of the things that planted the seeds in my mind a long time ago was when I remember my house got broken into. I shared this story a lot of times. And I asked my friends on Twitter to share their similar stories of cop incompetence. And that was one hell of a thread. I'm telling you. That was one hell of a thread. But I'm like, all right, my apartment was just broken into. They were just here not too long ago. They'll get the fingerprints. They actually care. The police showed up. They're actually kind of annoyed that I even bothered them. I was like, how dare you ask me to help you? And they were like, oh, sorry, nothing I can do for you. They could not be less interested in helping me out. Now, once again, I ask people their stories, and I hear the same exact thing. And I mean, I do stream. I go through those responses because it was classic. And all the people who failed by the cops, and then now they're saying people are abolitionists because they realize the system doesn't work for you. Meanwhile, the people who are wealthy, the people who are privileged, they know that the police will protect their class interest because that's what they do. They know the cops are a class loyalist system that's designed to enforce racial hierarchies and be agents of the class war. That's why they are supportive of giant police budgets. That's why they won't back down on that. And that's what the voters of the Democratic Party is going to. You guys see this vote? You guys see this video by Cory Booker? Check this out. This is who the progressives want us to fall in line for.
I call on my colleagues to support our law enforcement by voting yes for this amendment. Opposing my amendment is a vote in support of defunding the police and against the men and women in blue.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Madam President,
Senator from New Jersey.
I am so excited. This is perhaps the highlight of this long and painful and torturous night. This is a gift. If it wasn't complete abdication of Senate procedures and esteem, I would walk over there and hug my colleague from Alabama. And I will tell you right now, thank God, because there's some people who have said that they're members of this deliberative body that want to defund the police, to my horror. And now this senator has given us the gift that finally, once and for all, we can put to bed this scurrilous accusation that somebody in this great esteemed body would want to defund the police. So let all of us, 100 people, not walk, but sashay down there and vote for this amendment and put to rest the lies. And I am sure I will see no political ads attacking anybody here over defund the police. And I would ask unanimous consent to add something else to this obvious bill. Can we add also that every senator here wants to defund the police, believes in God, country, and apple pie? Thank you. I call on
That is
Shut and jive and shut and jive and shut and jive. That man just really sat out here and shut and jive. You want to know why the people that are in the Senate, in the House, support the police state? Because their class and their tax bracket supports the police state. The police are here for nothing more than to protect assets, to protect property, and to protect rich and powerful people. Because really think about it. If there's a whole thread of people that can say, like, the police did not help me. If there are people that have gotten their houses broken into because the police are not competent enough to know who to execute a no-knock warrant on, when no-knock warrants are fucking unconstitutional to me anyway. Like, all of these things, all of the inconsistencies between police and safety, police and protection, police and this. Like, the police do not keep anything safe. They do not keep anyone safe. If you are not of a certain tax bracket, of a certain caliber, the police don't give a fuck about you. And that's just the reality of the situation. You know, I'm a more privileged person, and my interactions with the police have all been fucking terrible. And and this was before I became an activist and was cussing their asses out on the police line. Like, if I can experience that shit in my middle-class Black neighborhood, then you just fucking imagine what the fuck they got going on down in Ward 7 and 8 in fucking Southeast. Like, come on now, y'all. Like, the shit is not fucking rocket science.
so. You know, just for people who don't have the background. That was a bill that was designed to punish local governments if their people decide to defund the police. So it's a massive federal government overreach to override the will of local people. If they personally choose, they're done with the fascist uniform. And the guy who introduced that bill was Tommy Tuberville. Do you guys remember who Tommy Tuberville was? Tommy Tuberville was the guy we're supposed to be terrified of. The new Republican on the block. The former football coach. Remember, oh my God, Tommy Tuberville was just elected. Oh my God. But with all the fear mongering that I don't fall for, you know, is that every single one of the Democratic senators, there was 99-0 vote, fell in line behind the so-called radical Tuberville. This is why I don't fall for this shit. They all believe in the same stuff. And the ruling class is not dumb. You know why Cory Bush has decided? You know why they're doing this? And I went in ended with these thoughts with you guys. Because they know that the defund police movement is gaining steam and momentum despite their propaganda. So now that we are forcing local governments to justify their police budgets and having success in terms of slashing them, now they want to have a government overreach. Also because they're smart enough to realize that we are in late-stage capitalism. We are in late-stage capitalist decay where people are going homeless en masse, where the climate crisis is about to get worse. We're going to have mass migration crisis. People are going to have water that they won't be able to drink, crop that they won't be able to feed their family with, for example. You're going to have massive societal unrest coming soon because capitalism has failed and the climate crisis is going to get worse. So the ruling class, do not get me wrong, has adjusted for this. They're just not telling you. Why do you think they're expanding the police state? Why do you think the national security state is expanding? Why do you think they're trying to chip away your Fourth Amendment rights? You guys know that Joe Biden fought the Supreme Court in order to give the police power to seize your guns without a warrant. He lost in court, but that is what they were trying to do. So they see the society that is failing. So they want to prop up and expand the police state to get ready for the societal unrest that is coming. That is what's happening. That's why you have unbelievable bipartisan support where even the progressives are weak as shit on this issue. You have the media, and this article I didn't cover it. I'm going to wrap up here very soon, so I'm going to be very quick. They still pretending that the squad is for defunded police. In this article, in the same article I discovered, they're like, oh, the squad is against this. The squad, no, they coordinated a vote to fund the police more. There is no allies and inside game on this issue, period. Because they are preparing for what was going to happen very soon as things continue to get worse and our government continue to abandon us. With that said, I want to give Fiend the last word. Make sure you guys check out Meg's show. She's going to be starting in about 10 to 15 minutes from now. But Fiend, you got anything you want to add? Anything like regarding the topic or anything you want to plug? And then we're going to toss it to Meg.
Yeah, I just want to finish with this last thought that the police started off as slave patrols. That's where the police have derived from. And they still are slave patrols because the U.S. prison system has legalized slavery. So as long as all of these motherfuckers are okay having slaves in their country, we need to decide what we're going to do as a revolutionary movement. That's all I'm really going to say about that. But yeah, you can check out my show, Facts and Fire, on Saturday. I have an event that day, so it'll probably be around like 5. And also, I'll be on another podcast. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'll tweet it out on Thursday. And I'll also be on We Are Haven's Instagram on Friday at 12 p.m. So please check all that stuff out. I'll post all that stuff on my Twitter. My Twitter is at Redizari with 2 D's, by the way. All right. That's all. Thanks. You're muted, Nig.
Sorry, it's been a long stream. But you guys know Dr. Kareem Batesh, Peter Beatty, and Asad Rod. We're going to have an amazing foreign policy conversation tomorrow evening. So make sure you guys check that out. We got a busy streaming day tomorrow. We got multiple streams running. So make sure you guys hit the bell so you guys can make sure you don't miss any of our content. Coming up right now is Meg Show, so make sure you gotta check that out as well. And the best way to support the show, if you enjoy the stream, check out FredHamptonLeftist.com. They got all our links there. But check us out on FredHamptonLeftist.com on Fred Hampton Leftist on Ko-fi if you guys want to support the show. I have all the links in the description down below. But thank you guys for checking out the show. This is Nick, Social CMA. This is my sister Afeni. Sign out. Thank you guys.